Hello. Hi. How's it going? ThreeTwo here. I'm going to be playing Speed Power Gunbike for you all. A fun, quirky little PlayStation mech action game, which I'm fond of showing off. Anyway, let's just dive right on in. We're going to play as Ami. She's got the best acceleration and turning and overall execution, and I started the timer early. A little nervous. Little palm spaghetti. Now, okay. You get control like a second after the ready. She's not very flashy, but she has like the best all-around execution, I find. Which is really important in like tight mazy stages. She spends less time skidding out of control while you try to compensate. And that really saves. That saves a lot of time. Got ourselves a gun pack. I need to make sure that I break as many boxes and gates as possible in the first stage to get my meter up. Over the first few stages, you want to build your meter up as much as possible so that when you go into the final stage, you've got access to your full level thing. Yes, bike anime girls. My oddly specific niche. It's funny, I'm playing this on a bigger screen than I usually do, and that's making it actually feel slower. Maybe that'll help. I think I missed my shortcut. Oh well, it shouldn't make that much of a difference. It's level 1. It just lets you skip those 2 hairpin turns. Anywho. Anyway, this game was the first game made by Inti Creates, the dudes who brought you Blaster Master Zero and Mega Man Zero and some other games that don't have Zero in the title. And the current record holder is actually Friendly Dragon now, who's another big Inti Creates fan. And he's dug up a lot of interesting trivia that I will happily pass along throughout this because I can't shut up when I'm nervous. Like, there's a couple little minor, like, references they throw into their newer games. Like, there's a motorcycle chase in Gunvolt 2 that includes kind of a suspiciously similar-looking motorcycle. It doesn't turn into anything, though, so it's kind of inferior. They do seem to have a thing for, like, suspicious older characters with purple hair. You can see a lot of, like, even though it's like a really early game, you can see some of the same character types show up, which I think is interesting. They've actually had the same artist on board since the very beginning. Anyway, first boss, big spider mech. You have to knock its feet out from under it to punch it in the face or torso. You can get more than one hit per pass if you kind of like wiggle. It counts as multiple hits. Ideally, you want to hit it at like just the right angle so you keep. It works best if you hit the torso from behind and just kind of keep pushing into it. But the controls aren't the smoothest, so you kind of take what you can get if you want to finish in a timely manner. There's a lot that I like about this game, but like a thing to keep in mind during the entire experience is that this is like a very early, well, not really very early PS1 game, but it's like a pre-DualShock PS1 game. So you're trying to do everything on like kind of notched turns, if that's a weird way to put it. I think about the best way I've tried to describe it to somebody is like, it's like if they tried to make Twisted Metal into a Final Fight clone, because like there's some parts where they do expect you to like stop and brawl it out. And the controls kind of fall apart whenever you're doing just like a straight up arena-style boss fight. But like racing and smashing through things feels great once you have the controls down. We're going to be meeting a couple of recurring enemies here. These are Dan and Gun, whose name is kind of a pun because Dangun put together means bullet. They're known as the DG Racers. And there is a boss in one of the Gunvolt games that has an attack called DG Racer. Yeah. Said boss is called Plasma Legion, and we'll get to see where he got his name later. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. You don't want to get hit when you're in bike mode, or you'll go flying over the handlebars Excite Bike style and then lose a bunch of time running back to it. Although there's kind of a fun little thing where, like, the rider is invincible. So if they happen to, like, brush against, like, walls or obstacles, you'll see sparks flying off of them, or they'll just deflect bullets with their face. So you don't have to worry about, like, dying off of your bike. If you land just right, too, you can basically use yourself as a projectile. It's not particularly useful, but it's a thing that can happen if you fly off just so. Anyway, this part, it's not really very mazy. It's the first maze-ish stage. It's not really twisty, though. It's like... the tunnels are just curved in such a way that if you make a wrong turn, you're going to waste a bunch of time turning around. They're just, like, angled just so. Just enough to be annoying. Oh, man, I hit the tank. Didn't cause an injury, though, so that's good. Oh god, I'm heavily disoriented now. Okay. Okay. See what I mean, though? Like, they're all identical tunnels, angled just so from each other. I got, like, bounced off the wall twice and just completely lost my sense of direction and need to turn the compass on. One of those games I would call, like, maybe not like a hidden masterpiece, but it's janky and interesting. And isn't that more fun? This is actually my favorite boss in the game. I feel like chasing down a train is like the best use of like your vehicle. You need to have more stages where you're like chasing something. Boom. I wish I could suplex it. So, like, normally scoring in stages, like, 5,000 is the max, and it ticks down as you make more mistakes. And, the train boss seems to be, like, a weird glitched exception because you can score over 5,000. This is probably the most awkward stage to navigate. It's like, it is an outright maze. Yeah, it looks a lot like Mega Man Legends, but it's an outside team. It's Indie Creates instead of Capcom. Although they ended up starting to work for Capcom later. You can tell that they really love, like, Mega Man, though. And I think it's funny that, like, their first... Like, they mainly do 2D stuff now. But, like, even their early 3D stuff happens to look like the early 3D Mega Man. Their second game was Love and Destroy, which is, like, a lot different looking. I'm not really as hyped about that one, but it's neat. I think my favorite thing about Love and Destroy is you could ignore the little mascot character's text messages, and every time you press the ignore button, he makes a little pained noise. Go on. That got hung up a little bit. She really wants to smash that door that she doesn't need to smash. There are several ways that you can get through this place. Oh wow, I am in desperate need of meter. I didn't pick up any on the first stage, did I? Well, hopefully I'll pick some up smashing doors. Oh god, I got turned the hell around. That's embarrassing. Break this door for good measure. What the... Oh, I see. If you can hit these doors in the middle, you'll break both sides at once, and it counts as breaking more things. Sorry I'm getting so disoriented here. Usually the carrier... Not my best stage, but a little smoother than this. Although the nausea is kind of inevitable. I've also kind of wondered what the deal is with, like, this graphical thing going on at the top of the screen. It looks like there's a second copy of the stage above the stage. Oh yeah, in relation to that thing I was talking about earlier about getting knocked off your bike, if you kind of crouch down into this, it's called rally mode. And you take less damage and do not fall off your bike. Robot mode has the most damage reduction, and it's like the only form where you can actually deal damage back. But it's agonizingly slow. And it has limited boost before it overheats and makes a funny honking sound. I almost want to go back and just smash things so I make sure I have meter. It is the Gunbike. There we go. That's one level anyway. This part can be really, really annoying. Because these mine layer enemies can spawn new mines at about the same rate that you, like, recover from running into one. Okay. So, this boss could be a huge time waster because it's one of those bosses that likes to hide outside the arena and be invincible. Yeah, crap, I missed the first pass. This is like the only time the gun is useful, and even then, like, only arguably. Wow, you flopped a ways away, didn't ya? Oh shit. I really messed that up. So Ami has an exclusive attack that's like a dropkick move that does a lot of damage to this thing. And the command for it is hold circle, tap X, tap triangle. So that's why I just kind of spazzed out and transformed in midair. But yeah, you lose a lot of time if you don't tag that thing to make it come out of the water faster. Full speed tackles are like the most damaging attack you have. So that's why I like was running away and coming back. Bah. Still have to do another cycle of this. These little fly minions are being really obnoxious today. I did a couple practice runs before I got on today. And it's like, normally you can just kind of ignore them. Today they are just like blocking me left and right. Boing. And it's dead. So yeah, one of the big reasons I started using this character the most for runs is since she's the only one with that dropkick, she can kill that boss faster. And since that guy has such a wide window of time where he just, like, disappears from the deck of the ship and just swims around wasting your time, I just kind of started thinking, like, hey, if I can kill him faster, that's going to speed everything up. And I haven't been wrong since. Although Friendly Dragon likes to play as Major No-No, who's my least favorite character because he's got really slow acceleration and turning. But he is like a little bit more aggressive, combo-oriented, I guess. I guess he's supposed to be kind of the powerhouse for experts type character, but I kind of prefer someone who's generally easy to use. So this is another mazy kind of stage, but it's not as bad as the first one. I'm gonna try and take out some more enemies so I got some meter built up. You'll find the biggest concentration of enemies like in the final stage, which is kind of what I'm trying to save meter for, so yeah. I used to cash in my supers to blaze through the final enemies. Now I save him for the second to last boss just to like nudge him out of the way faster. still love how games that are like stylized like this, they never really age too badly. The fact that they're all robots helps. This Mega Man Legends Tail Concerto, it's probably like the easiest PS1 games for me to like go back and look at. It's also kind of funny that there were so many people like, I think as you got into PS1 you didn't see as much of it, but like they were really trying to like de-animify box art and stuff like that for the longest time. And then when that ended, you got to like the opposite end of the spectrum where they had people putting like fake anime art on covers to try and sell them. Like what was that beat 'em up that was kind of a thing, Gekido? A bunch of kids games tried to do that too. One of my friends has like a business tycoon game that has like an outright ripoff of Phoenix Wright on the cover. Just straight up chibi Phoenix Wright in Business Tycoon. Anyway, we're making our way through the creepy warehouse, and soon we're going to hear a creepy voice. I must warn anybody who is sensitive to the word Oni-chan, you're going to start hearing it. Ami doesn't like people that say Oni-chan. That's why she's having a mild freakout. That turn right there used to throw me for like the longest time. It's like you want to get through the stage as fast as possible because your life meter is your timer, basically. But if you lay on the throttle the entire time you're in the warehouse, you're just gonna skid off the walls constantly. Anyway, here's that horrible sound we were hearing. Kind of a techno ghost cyborg girl. This used to be my least favorite boss until I kind of figured out her trick. Which is, she basically always teleports kind of diagonally from whatever rooftop she was on. So that gives you plenty of time to like rev up speed and just drive directly into her face. And soon, Yorimoto will be no more. Sometimes if you like ram into her at low speed, she'll just teleport to the same rooftop and you can get a second hit in. That's nice because it ends this faster. Okay, she's dead. Okay, I must warn you, the next boss fight is going to be kind of hilarious, unintentionally. See, Ami's supposed to be like in a feral, Evangelion-like beast mode state right now. Instead, she just looks like she's scampering around on all fours. Anyway, the boss is dead. The boss is programmed to be like as mindlessly aggressive as possible, but also sort of try to flank you at the same time. So if you run her berserk mode into a wall, he tries to get behind her and can't. So you can just kind of grind him against the wall. I wish that strat worked on all of the bosses, though. As the next boss coming up is like the hardest, worst. I mean, you could argue that the final boss is like the worst ever because it's like a still object that you have to hit with good timing. I do die to the final boss a fair amount, so fair warning there, I guess. Oof. Anyway, yeah, that weird feral all-fours crawling thing is technically her super mode. But after she beats up their commanding officer and, like, learns the power of believe in myself, I guess, she's got an upgraded super that we're going to be using against, the annoying semi-final boss. These things are deceptively sucky. You want to avoid the hell out of them. Oosh. Okay. Now we have a shorter race with the, two brats. It's a much shorter one, so they just kind of like peace out, and then you're at the end of the stage. Whenever I'm doing this, I kind of use I use the speed bonus as kind of my guideline for how well I'm doing. I'm just gonna go ahead and let this cutscene play out, because I usually do, because it's neat. These annoying people. What are they gonna do?
EW セクターより複数急速接近。あなたたちは一家で軍兄貴どうやった？
Yeah. Good. There we go. Didn't really trigger on command like I wanted, though. Okay, now that I've used that up, I have to fight him the normal, horrible way. As I mentioned before, this game's controls don't really work well with standard face-to-face arena fights, and holy crap, that drill attack takes a lot of life off. That time I recognized his voice line. It's not unusual for me to die here. Yeah, when you can only turn in, like, little fucking 45-degree notches, trying to get in a straight-up fight with another mech is torture. And if you hit them too many times too fast, like get them in an actual combo, they do this. Ideally, you want to tag them, like, as soon as the fight starts, and you can kind of, like, stun lock them. Then sometimes he just does this, where he just pops in place. It's like I said, the boss fight with the Major is easy because, oh my god, he's fucking healing. Ugh, that didn't stop that nearly fast enough. Yeah, he can heal. It's another wonderful ability they've given the worst boss in the game. They'll usually do it after they split up and run away. He's almost dead. I mean... No! Whoa, how did I not die from that? Okay. There. Oh my god. I kind of cut myself off, but like, the one boss is easy because he's mindlessly aggressive, and like, the red mech, I can best describe his pattern as like truly random. Because you can like be running around in circles on him, then you catch him like punching a wall or something. You'll turn around and he's just hopping up and down in place. So like you can't really like bait him into getting pinned against a wall easily, like you do with the other dude. There we go. I wouldn't call this a hard final boss so much as just kind of an awkward one. You just have to, like, time running into this core over and over. This would be a lot easier if you had, like, any kind of, like, direct camera control. There's not really a good, like, audio cue for when it transforms, or rather drops its shield. Now that string of bouncing balls that it tosses out is ridiculously damaging if it hits you. And those rotating things are really good at just stopping your momentum cold. This boss presents you with a very, like, simple challenge, then does everything it can to make that simple challenge really not simple. Okay, I think my timing is off now. Ugh. Seem to be like losing an input when I switch modes and then try to attack. That's why I keep turning into a bike and not attacking. Let's go ahead and veer off and make one more run. This thing's about dead. I've got a stock of super in case this thing gets me, like, down to the wire. There we go! Although, graphically, something went awry. There's supposed to be, like, a swirl filter here, but I changed, rendering options. So anyway, this is, like, the last part of the game. Yes, it's naked time. This is your typical 90s anime ending. Everything gets trippy. So we're flying through the galaxy and we got 2001 Space Odyssey slabs all up in this place. It's very deep. You guys like Evangelion? This is a lot like Evangelion. This is exactly like Evangelion. There's not really much you can do to affect this to make it go faster or slower. Well, actually, you can slow it down. If I hold the triangle button, you'll do like a kind of a loop-de-loop. And no, you don't see anything. It's all completely shrouded in red light. Safe for Twitch, PS1 nudity. I think we're like astral projecting or something, I don't know. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Kinda like Sin and Punishment. So if anybody like has a thing for like Nestor from Howard and Nestor, the red-haired biker kind of looks like him. You can see him naked too. Like statistically, I'm sure somebody has a thing for Nestor from Howard and Nestor. I mean, Nestor probably has a thing for Nestor. See how many Chaos Emeralds I can get, not that it affects anything. And after the last emerald, I lose control, and that's time. Not my best time, not my worst time, but a time nonetheless. And that was Speed Power Gunbike. These guys make Mega Man now. I also lose control after collecting all the emeralds, yes. Thank you for the GGs, everybody. Thank you for watching this wonderful, wonderful game. Okay. I should probably mute before I start typing in front of my mic. That's like a polite thing to do, right?